My family owns the second largest collection of Wizard of Oz memorabilia in the world. We have over 25,000 pieces in the collection. We started collecting when we were little. And what happens is I use the Wizard of Oz in a lot of my work. I work with youth, I work with gangs, gang members, their families. So I developed this retreat based on the Wizard of Oz. I've given retreats also to gay men because the theme of the Wizard of Oz is something that's very important. It's part of the psyche, if you will, of especially gay men, the baby boomers, the 40, 50-year-old crowd, I think really identify with a lot of the elements of the Wizard of Oz.
When I grew up, there wasn't a lot. There wasn't what you have today with the music and the TVs and all the stations. We had a TV, one, and it only had very few stations on it, like 5 or 6, and it was mostly controlled by my dad. So one of the things that every year the Wizard of Oz came on, and that was like right up there with Christmas and Easter. So it was like something we all look forward to, and of course Judy Garland.
I think I just look at even my own life, you know, growing up at home. I'm from New York. I have my family, there's 7 of us in the family. And growing up at home, my dad was away a lot. And whenever he was home, my dad was drunk. I grew up in an alcoholic family. And so as a young boy, it was, where is the place you can go to get away? And we lived right up the street from the church. And so many times I would go and grab my brothers and sisters when my parents would discuss things very loudly. We would go up to the church. And so it was a kind of place of escape, of quiet. And for me, the movie always spoke about that. You know, Dorothy, Judy Garland, wanted to get away. Things at home were crazy. They didn't listen to her. They didn't understand her. And she was looking for a place where she could go. A place of magic, a place somewhere over the rainbow. To get away from the dull, boring gray of Kansas and the craziness of home.
The gay community is connected to the Wizard of Oz for very much the same reasons that everybody connects to the Wizard of Oz. The characters in the Wizard of Oz are a bunch of outsiders. They feel outside the mainstream, if you will, more on a metaphysical level than you know, on a physical level. They feel emotionally inept at times. They feel unaffirmed by families, and these are very much the same ways that the gay community, especially early on in the gay movement, how those individuals felt in their own families and their larger communities. And so it wasn't a far stretch for them to connect to other outsiders portrayed in a mainstream way.
And one of the few albums my dad had was Judy Garland live at I think it was Carnegie Hall. So when I heard that record and I put 2 and 2 together, that this is Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, you know, it was like I was so impressed and just was in awe of her. She was always Dorothy to me, and you know, I would hear her stories about her struggles and her drugs and her struggles with money, and I could identify somewhat with her.
It was evident in her personal life that she was imperfect and damaged in ways that gay people have felt.
Because her life, she's a tragic character. You know, and so often there's that tragic character to gay life, especially earlier in my generation, where, you know, we were hit with the AIDS crisis and we lost so many of our gifted, talented young people. A lot of the gay community got involved because it was underground and secret. The gay life was situated around the bars, and so drinking and alcohol, they were all smoke covered and smoke filled until, you know, the recent laws. And so you had these smoke filled rooms. People were drinking, people were drunk, all kind of wild living, and that's the way Judy lived. That was her life. And the end that she came to, unfortunately, many in the gay community did, until enlightenment, until we realized what was happening, you know.
Judy seemed more normal and troubled, and so I could identify with the troubled. And And being gay back then was not, it was nothing like today.
So it wasn't the same atmosphere. You weren't out and open. You know, many of the guys who worked had regular jobs. Many of them had families. And so they had to live, you know, in the darkness, in the secret. And I think they longed for that place where they could skip down the yellow brick road, wear fabulous shoes, you know, and just, you know, be met with wonderful people and experiences.
When I came out, I started going to the bars. I used to go to the bistro, and right down the street was the Baton. And I had a couple friends that liked to go there, and I had a friend that performed there, and he performed as Judy. And, you know, in the 70s, I think that a lot of performers did Judy. It was like there weren't a lot to impersonate, and Judy was the easy one. And you could see these people that imitated her were troubled like she was.
When people were saying, "Are you a friend of Bill?" for the 12-step programs, a lot of people in AA, Al-Anon, Alateen, all these 12-step programs. And so they were used, "Are you a friend of Bill?" And there were certain groups that dealt especially with gay men, in Al-Anon, Alateen, you know, the different for narcotics and different addiction programs. And I think it just naturally developed that, "Oh, you're a friend of Bill." He said, "Oh, you're also a friend of Dorothy?"
Her mother told her, "You do know he's a friend of Dorothy's." So it was a way back then of identifying who's a gay person without saying it, because you really weren't supposed to. And gay people to recognize each other had to have little tricks like that.
Many times we'll say, "Oh, he's a friend of Dorothy too, huh?" And not just meaning Oz, so the people who know.
Are you a friend of Dorothy's? That it was a way of people identifying each other. So, so you know, it was just the beginning of bonding with other human beings, being able to share some of the things that I liked and know that other people liked it as well.
It was a connection. You know, this is a kindred soul. This is someone I could connect with, someone who understands, someone who knows my story. It's like when you go to a bar. You know, if you go to a gay bar, you're there with people like yourself. You can be yourself. You don't have to hide. You know, and the younger generation used the pink triangle or the rainbow flag, you know, or now the equal signs from equality. So I think we use different symbols to kind of, it's like the secret handshake, you know that you're a member.
So what a fantastic voice, and a great entertainer, and I just love her. I just think she's wonderful.
That the message of The Wizard of Oz is that we can make it through the yellow brick road, being ourselves. Dorothy represents the internal child, always the eternal child. The one who skips, the one who sings, the one who rolls around the floor and plays with a puppy, has your Toto. And as we make our way through life, I think the message of Wizard of Oz, we need people, we need friends. We're going to encounter wicked witches and flying monkeys and haunted forests, all those wicked and evil things in life. But if we have good friends, as she had the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Lion, who accompanied her, her companion Toto, she made this journey. But she realized that it wasn't a place, it wasn't a destination, but life was all about the journey. And that everything she was looking for, everything those characters were looking for, a heart, a brain, courage, they always had within them. They always have inside them. I think that's the message for young gay people, especially when they're bullied, when they encounter bullies and wicked witches and flying monkeys, that you have it within you. You have the power of the ruby slippers. That power that Dorothy always had with her, we also have within us. We have
somewhere over the rainbow, way on high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do